Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name is SK Crypto K, and today let's talk a little bit about elephant money and the latest contract that has come out. It is called the Elephant Trunk, and this contract is an algorithmic stablecoin that is the de facto one to solve them all. So when it comes to these two contracts working in tandem, the elephant token plus elephant trunk, you have got a winning combination that is going to make you a lot of money.
I love money. Please tell me more.
Certainly, let's get into it. Yo, appreciate your time and just know that I'm SK Crypto K, and today you should join my crypto club. Maybe by the end earn some dividends, so in advance I'ma thank you right now for that sub. Hey, yo, let's go. Thank you all for being here to catch another one of my videos. Just a friendly reminder that I am not a financial advisor. Everything here is purely my opinion and for entertainment purposes only. And before we could talk about the new contract called Trunk, I need you to understand a little bit about what elephant money is, because this is one of the key strategies that you're going to need to know if you want Trunk to be beneficial to you. So, a very quick history lesson of elephant token. This launched back in May, right before the big dump of the entire crypto market happened, when we had the 3 months straight of a bear market. There was a 7-day fair launch where everybody who got in was providing liquidity for the new elephant token, which was a better version of SafeMoon with some key innovative changes, such as fixing the liquidity loophole in the reward system, as well as an innovative burn mechanic that over time would raise the price of elephant. However, after that liquidity drive, people sold for a loss, and there's a number of reasons for that. Some had to take out money because they owed on other aspects in their life, and then in general you had some paper hands anyway. The key thing was, though, all of those people who sold at a loss. Not only did you sell and lose 10% because of the tokenomics, but you just dumped below the floor price. So that was kind of crazy. And that's what you saw right here. But then even after that, it started to floor and recover. And then you had the entire market dump on us. That is when Bitcoin and everything, all of the speculative rumors of China and institutional money driving the coin price down so they could manipulate the market. All of that happened right here throughout May and June and July.
Yeah, that was one crazy roller coaster.
Indeed it was. And I am so happy that we are through that. But one of the key things I want to point out on this chart real fast is that up until about the first week of July, the elephant money ecosystem only had its version 1 pools in addition to the elephant token that had just come out. But what was being worked on in the background here is right at its lowest point. This is when the version 2 liquidity pools for BTCB, WBNB, Ethereum, BUSD, and Cake were all created and integrated into the elephant token, where 2% of all of the incoming and outgoing traffic within those pools was feeding back to the elephant token. And what you saw, very interestingly, before the overall market came back, was you were getting all of this positive buying pressure on the elephant token. So everybody that staked into those version 2 pools as it got integrated into the elephant token with little 2% buybacks, you started to see some price appreciation of elephant token before the inevitable market coming back as a whole around July 20th. And because elephant is pegged to BNB, you saw everything rise up over the months of July and August, in addition to what those V2 pools were doing. Now, zooming out, we did have another sell-off of elephant token. There was a lot of speculation about what Trunk was going to be before we knew what Trunk was, and that it was right around the corner. And then probably some people just got a little bit tired of waiting, and so you had some people sell off, and then we had another market correction happen, which I believe is the final one of this last leg of the bull run. And so here we are. Trunk is just another fantastic addition that heavily feeds into the elephant token, and you want to be able to get in on elephant now while it is still cheap. Technically, it is still below the pre-sale price of where it first ever started, of about a 0.70 1493. So where it is right now, where it is just at 80999. So this is a fantastic price point to get in because you are below the pre-sale price, and everything we're about to talk about in this video is going to pump elephant token thanks to the new contract Trunk.
But before we get into Trunk, you need to understand elephant token a little bit deeper.
And as a very quick rundown of what elephant token is, basically just know that it is a 10% in and 10% out token, where half of the 10% is going to go immediately into the liquidity of the elephant token, and the other 5% is going to get distributed back to all of the elephant token holders based on their stake percentage. So essentially, the more token that you hold, the higher relative percentage stake you have against the other holders. So when half of that 10% transaction gets distributed amongst all holders, you will see your percentage stake of that transaction, and you will get that in more elephant token. It is a reflect token. One of the most innovative aspects of the elephant token is this graveyard smart contract.
Ooh, graveyard, that sounds spooky. Halloween's right around the corner too.
Yeah, it's not what you think. Just chill out, chill out.
So of that 10% tax, there is a portion of it that gets locked into the liquidity, and some of it gets sent over to the graveyard, which is always rebalanced to go back down to 50%. And then over time, with all of the transactions in and out of elephant tokens, some of that goes to the graveyard, which creeps this number up to 51%.
And this is where the magic happens. When it reaches 51%,
it is a community event where the entire smart contract of the graveyard rebalances itself back down. And when that burn event happens, it counts as a transaction. So 10% of that comes out, where half of it gets redistributed to all of the token holders, and the other half just recycles back into the liquidity and starting a new graveyard cycle back up to 51%. And most recently, when that occurred, if you were a trillionaire as far as holding elephant tokens, you received hundreds of dollars worth of elephant token that went back into your wallet. And this will continue to happen forever and ever. And this is one of those community events that you can watch for. And so now let's talk about the new Trunk contract.
Oh yeah, tell me all about that junk in that elephant trunk.
what?
Nothing.
So what this smart contract is a stable coin yield that is meant to mainly be your bank through all bull and bear cycles that are inevitable throughout your crypto career. And what's interesting about this isn't like if you go over to the BUSD version 2 elephant pool, right? Where this is just purely a mechanical, you input your BUSD and And when you deposit it, it's 10% in, and then you just roll your rewards. And then when you withdraw it, it's 10% out, all of that stuff, 23% APR on your BUSD. It is not that.
It goes much, much deeper.
And it's mainly because Elephant Money Stable, aka
Trunk,
is partially collateralized by BUSD, where 75% of it is BUSD, guaranteed.
So then what is the other 25%?
That is a very good question, and the answer is
Elephant token, meaning 3/4 of your trunk dollar is guaranteed to be BUSD. And if you think about it, the other 25% is more of the algorithmic side of it. The floating side of it is made of Elephant token. So when you come in and buy trunk, you mint it. And if you take $100, that means $75 goes into the BUSD liquidity, and the other $25 goes immediately into a buyback of the Elephant token itself, creating huge buying pressure on the Elephant token.
And that is where the magic happens.
So remember when we talked about before the overall market even came back, you already had price appreciation coming up from all of those version 2 Elephant money pools that only had a slight little 2% buying pressure on your Elephant token. Now you're talking about, in addition to those version 2 pools and their 2% kickback, you've now got an algorithmic stablecoin that is doing a 25% buyback, which is causing this mooning action right here. And what's better yet is that
instead of a 10% in and out of the trunk contract,
it is only 1%. So if you put in $100 of BUSD to mint trunk, you will get back 99 trunk.
Whoa. What about when you sell?
It is the same exact way. Whenever you take your trunk out of this stake and you redeem it, it is also a 1% tax, which makes this immediately more attractive than any of those version 2 pools on Elephant Money so far. And your stake is not locked of any kind, and your APRs are high.
Whoa, dude. Okay. You got me hooked. You need to tell me a little bit more.
certainly, let's get into it.
So let me go ahead and connect my wallet, and you'll see immediately that the APR is relatively high at 59%. And this is interesting too, because how this works is it will literally never go below 30% APR. And that's to do with all of the magic happening and how Bank Teller has described it as asymptotically decaying to only 30% forever and ever. However, as more trunk gets minted and as the marketing comes through, and then this gets adopted on different platforms and farms and dexes, there's going to be so much of this trunk that's minted that the APR can go crazy through the roof. You could potentially be looking at an APR of over 365% as adoption of this kicks in. And so when I staked into this yesterday, it started out about 30 or I think 38% APR, and now it's already grown to 59%.
And so think about it. Where else can you stake a stable coin and get higher than 30% APR?
Bank of America?
No, what are you talking about?
Nah, I don't know. I was just taking a guess.
Yep, there is literally nowhere in the fiat world where you can take $1 and get anything higher than what? Maybe what, 0.1% if you're in a CD, 6% if you're in some sort of program of some kind. I don't even know. But when it comes into the crypto space and you're talking about stable coin yield,
there ain't nowhere else you're getting a high APR.
and don't kid yourself otherwise. And so not only is it cheap to go in and out with 1%, but it is no tax whenever you decide to hit that roll button. So right now it looks like I have 1.5 USD or 1.5 trunk. If I were just to go ahead and roll that over, it should just pop right up into my deposit as exactly 1.54, which, yep, rolls that out and then increases my stake percentage. So that's your surface view breakdown of what the trunk does. Remember, it's providing a 25% buyback on all interactions with this contract when it comes to minting and redeeming trunk token, and that positive buying pressure will moon the elephant token. So after we do a little bit deeper of a breakdown, I will tell you different strategies for the end of this video on how to maximize what you want to do with this platform overall. But first, let's read a little bit about what trunk is. So this is a future way to compound profits made across your portfolio, meaning
if you invest in Ethereum or Bitcoin or
any of these other tokens while we are in this bull run, inevitably we are going into a bear market. And in regards to when that will be, your guess is as good as mine, but you need to predict that and take your profits. For example, let's just say it's Bitcoin and it reaches an all-time high of $200,000 per Bitcoin. Before that time ever comes, probably want to take out 50% of that and turn it into a stable, okay? And the thinking is when you take your profits and turn them into a stable coin, you survive through the bear market, buy up your Bitcoin back again with your stable, and next thing you know, you ended up with more Bitcoin than what you sold off at. And so when the bull run inevitably comes back, you will have a higher profit because you own more Bitcoin.
And that's where the key to this trunk contract is.
Wherever you stake your profits and you want to sell them out, instead of just putting it into USDC or BUSD or any of the other stables, you might as well just put it into trunk because you're gonna get a high APR on it during the bear market with a very cheap 1% withdrawal tax whenever you're ready to get back into the bull market. Does that make sense?
No, not really.
Well, pay attention next time.
But yeah, so you want to make sure you're taking your profits and locking in your gains. You want to use the reserve to mint trunk for a low processing fee of just 1% on minting and redemption. Trunk is partially collateralized at a fixed 75% BUSD and 25% elephant token. Both collateral assets are securely stored in treasuries. The 1% minting processing fee is also used for a 100% buyback of trunk paired with BUSD on the Pancake LP. So that just hardens the price overall. Now, where some of this APR is coming from and these stats that we'll look at down below, they're all reward credits that are generated on minting and redemption at a rate of 11% and 4% volume respectively. So yes, you get the 1% that comes out and that gets paired on the trunk BUSD LP on PancakeSwap. However, the remaining 99% that goes into everything here, you should think of this 11% and 4% as 11 cents on the dollar and 4 cents on the dollar of everything that goes in and out of this minting process. And those profits or credits are distributed to the trunk staking pool, the version 2 asset pool, and the performance pool at these respective percentages. So you could take this 11% and you know that 8% of that mint process is going into the trunk staking. Of that 11%, 2% of the mint process is going into version 2 asset pools, and then 1% of the mint goes into the performance pool, which is essentially dev and marketing and what have you. All of these three pools release funds at 1% a day of their credit balance. So here's another interesting thing too up here for the rewards. You can actually see the breakdown. These are those three pools and all of the revenue generated so far. So with trunk staking, there is $14,000 total that is accrued in here. And you'll see that down here below on the dividend pool, $14,000. Now, of all the stakers that are in Trunk at this point in time, 1% of this a day will go back into the rewards of the Trunk. And in addition to that, you have other things feeding the APR. And then also a small cut goes into the version 2 staking pool. So that's the BTCB, Ethereum, all of those different pools are going to get a 1% a day kickback into those, which increases those APRs. So this entire elephant money ecosystem is feeding itself amongst all the contracts, which is really cool. And then lastly, the elephant treasury and use cases built around it acts as a large active market participant, which differentiates it from the passive elephant graveyard, which we covered earlier, and protects the price of elephant. The elephant treasury, which is this guy right here.
Ooh, hello, little elephant treasury man.
He's not actually a man. He can't talk to you.
Oh, well, look at that face. He looks cool anyway.
But this elephant treasury right here receives passive reflection rewards, which ensures a collateralization ratio above 1, which is required to fully redeem elephant at 25% on the dollar, along with that 75% BUSD. So that ratio right here is a seesaw effect where you have the entire elephant treasury ratioed against the pancake LP, and this will always stay in balance. Whenever this ratio is above 1, there is no problem paying out this 25% in elephant when you redeem your Trunk. Whenever the peg is below 1 for this ratio, it's basically multiplied by 25 cents on the dollar and then made up for in the difference of the elephant treasury to get you your full 25%, which feeds into the algorithmic stablecoin.
Now, this part is very important.
There has not been an algorithmic stablecoin I've seen to do it correctly. You've got things out there like BDO, which was in the version 1 pool of Elephant Money, and that lost its peg and completely died. It did not stay at $1.
Then you have the epic fall from grace that we call Iron Finance,
which was a beautiful disaster, and I think inspired what we see as Trunk today. But with Iron Finance, they also collateralized against the stablecoin, but the other floating side of that dollar was made out of Titan. And the Titan coin was their reward token whenever it came to their yield farms, and was also pegged to that algorithmic stablecoin. And it lost its peg because the Titan token was inflationary. And as those rewards were being printed out from the farm, that Titan token kept being redeemed and sold. And so new Titan had to be minted so quickly to peg back to the dollar, and then dumped off as it was a reward token, and then redeemed again and printed again to peg back to the dollar. It was just a vicious cycle of runaway inflation that it just drained so fast it lost the peg and could never recover. So
hot damn, did that project die with a quickness. And that's the whole magic here of Trunk,
is that you're building it off of an already established elephant token, which is not inflationary. It is not a reward token that is being redeemed constantly from farm pools. And everything that Bank Teller has done with the seesaw mechanics and the deflationary aspect, this peg against BUSD with Elephant token is genius and will not lose the peg.
This is literally innovation at its finest.
And the best algorithmic stablecoin dollar that we have seen yet. And the fact that you get it in a staking pool with high APR
is monumental in the DeFi space.
But I digress. Let's talk about my little sidekick's favorite elephant treasury here.
Yeah, look at that elephant icon. He looks so cool. Look at this little cute little face, man. He's so cute.
Okay.
So when it comes to this elephant treasury, I want you to think of this as its own little whale user. And look at him right now. He's got 4.1 trillion tokens as an elephant token holder, okay? And so as all this new trunk is being minted and all those buybacks are happening against the elephant token, those transactions that feed back into all of the holders, including the elephant treasury, you also get a certain percentage of that 11 cents on the dollar coming back to this treasury.
So he's not just getting little breadcrumbs fed to him.
This is like your relative feeding a table full of scraps to the dog behind your back. And as this elephant treasury gets larger, it's getting more and more rewards per all of those elephant token transactions. And this elephant treasury dude is your friend because he cannot dump on you. The only time elephant treasury ever loses money is to account for the peg whenever it comes time for someone to redeem their trunk token. And when they redeem it, 1% comes out and it gets burned. You take 100 trunk and you will get $75 in BUSD plus X amount of elephant token to account for that remaining $25. And that comes out of this treasury in little trickle amounts, right?
So, SK, what happens if everybody in elephant token is just dumping and selling and just dumping the out of the price? What does that mean for the elephant treasury?
That's a very good question, and this guy is your friend.
Because now, all of a sudden, if everybody in the ecosystem were to dump on their elephant tokens, this guy right here becomes the #1 holder of elephant token. And as the majority shareholder, it helps keep a stable floor price of elephant because this will never dump on you, which protects the price of not only trunk, but also the elephant token. And it's a key aspect to the contract every bit as the graveyard is to the elephant contract, which rebalances and burns tokens when it hits 51%. So this alongside the graveyard are both very protective of the elephant token price and trunk.
And so, yeah, hopefully this has made sense so far.
Let me just reiterate that this is not like drip or flow where your deposit is actually locked. You can take it out at any time. So let me just demonstrate that for you real fast. If you wanted to take $100 out, you would come to the withdrawal, hit 100, hit withdraw, and by the time it is done, you should see it pop up into your rewards right here. Boom. Okay, so now look, this decreased by 100. My rewards went up by 100, and what I can do right now is, if I wanted to, I could roll my reward right back into the deposit, which will zero this out, or I can actually claim it out. And you can see I've already withdrawn 467 as I played around with the contract earlier. But let me just show you when I claim that when this transaction comes out, you'll see that my trunk amount in my wallet is going to increase by 100 that comes out of the rewards. And then when that happens and I'm ready to sell my trunk or basically redeem it back into actual funds I can use elsewhere, I'll put 100 trunk right here, and it gives you a nice little breakdown right here. So if you take a look, 100 trunk was gonna give me 74.25 BUSD plus 2.49 billion elephant for a total of $99 worth of BUSD because of that 1% tax that comes out.
Oh man, so SK, if I redeem it, I have to go through the trouble to go sell my elephant token?
Actually, no, there is a second way to redeem your trunk.
You could just come over to PancakeSwap and break your trunk directly into BUSD. Yep, right there. So what I did was I took my trunk, I broke it into 99.7 BUSD that you can see right here, which is really cool because you took it out of the actual trunk in BUSD LP and bypassed the 10% sell tax on the elephant token. Because otherwise you would have came back over here and you would have had your 74 in BUSD plus the elephant token, which I would just suggest you hold because that elephant token is going to moon.
which is just really cool overall.
How can you deny the fact that this is a great contract? So yeah, keep that in mind whenever you want to redeem your token. But in my opinion, I think it's best just to take out your 75% guaranteed BUSD and then hang on to that elephant token as it gets more and more scarce, more and more deflationary, just like Bitcoin. So can you imagine what the elephant price is going to be, 5-10 years from now, right? So also one other aspect I'd like to show you. So I've got my 99 BUSD right here. I'm actually going to go ahead and remint this, and I want to tell you a little bit about the transaction tax. So there are a lot of steps that go into this. So minting and redeeming trunk is actually a very expensive process. And once you have the trunk and you stake it and then you roll it, everything else is really cheap and fine, normal BSC fees. But when you mint it, let's just take a look at what the tax is. You'll see here that there are a lot of steps that go into actually minting the trunk, all for a total of $2.68,
which is really high.
Whoa, dude, that's the most expensive transaction fee I've ever seen.
Yup.
But thankfully, you will never have to do this that often. But I just want you to be aware of that high tax on minting and redeeming. It'll be a similar, if not more expensive transaction. Because now look, when you come back over here, I've got my 98.7 trunk that I'm gonna go ahead and deposit back into the system. And you'll see that this fee is very cheap compared to what we just did at only 29 cents. Okay. So once you have your trunk and you're within the system, everything's pretty cheap. And then coming back over here, I see that I went from $800 back up to $933.
Now, the last thing I want to talk about for this video are the strategies.
There are going to be 3 main types of people that use trunk and or elephant. So let's say you happen to be a user that is not into elephant token whatsoever. You're just really enamored and you love the fact that you can get a stable coin with a very high APR. And if you are that type of user, then this trunk by itself will be your bread and butter. You will come in, you will take whatever profits you earned as BUSD from all across the crypto space, and you will simply deposit it and take advantage of at least a 30% APR guaranteed. And again, as this gets wide adoption, the APR will go up, because that is just unheard of in the DeFi space or even in the fiat world. There is no better store of value than getting a stable dollar with a high return. You've got to imagine if one day you're putting $100,000 into this deposit and you're getting at least 30% APR, that's $30,000 in a year that you're just taking out willy-nilly. And if this is higher, that's all the better.
So that is number 1. So let's talk about number 2.
You said number 2.
Okay, grow up, please.
But maybe you don't care whatsoever about trunk and you simply just want to be an elephant token holder. And then for that, this video means 100% nothing to you other than you're gonna hold your elephant token as you've been doing before and purely benefit off of the 25% buybacks that are happening with all of the trunk users. And all of that positive buying pressure that goes against the elephant token is just going to appreciate the value of your elephant token. This entire trunk system makes the elephant token hyper-deflationary with positive buy pressure all the time, including the version 2 pools elsewhere on the site. You're just going to benefit from a higher and higher elephant token price. And you best believe as this becomes more adopted with all of the marketing strategies that Bank Teller has in store, this is only going to get mass adopted, which is going to increase the APR, which is also going to increase the buy pressure against elephant token.
So you best believe that elephant token can easily 10 or 20x from its current price right now.
So yeah, that's strategy number 2. Just ignore Trunk, let it do its thing, and let all the other users have fun with it, and you, as an elephant token holder, reap the rewards and the benefits of all of that positive buying pressure. So you can essentially treat your elephant token like it is a Bitcoin, because over time, if you survive all of the inevitable ebbs and flows as people take profits and the price appreciates over time, you're going to have a very nice profit margin on your elephant, especially if you happen to have at least 1 trillion tokens.
And then lastly, the third user will be
a type of hybrid of Trunk and elephant, which is personally what I'm going to be doing. And it's more of an advanced strategy, but you're going to basically primarily be an elephant token holder who just rides the ebbs and flows of the price. But wherever else in the crypto space, if I want to take some profits or even just take some of my profits off of my elephant token and store it in a stable home, I will mint it as Trunk and put some of it into my deposits to get a stable yield APR, because that's always nice. But then there's an added strategy of, if you were to just mint Trunk and actually not stake it, it's a pretty die-hard way of being a supporter of the Elephant Money platform. But you gotta think, whenever you mint Trunk and then you stake it into this actual contract,
you are becoming another denominator
for the overall user base in this staking pool. So in other words, the more people that get into this, all of those rewards get divided by a higher number of people, right? Which theoretically could lower the APR. Again, it would never go lower than 30%. However, it will reduce the APR because you are part of the common denominator, or the divisible factor of the profits. So for some of the larger whales, if you just wanted to support the elephant token, you can literally take your profits from across the crypto space, redeem it, mint it as Trunk, and then just hold it as Trunk, because you know that you just caused a positive buying pressure on your own elephant bag, and you effectively raise the APR of all the other users actually staked.
Wow, I really have no idea what you're talking about. So how exactly does that benefit me?
That's a really good question, and it doesn't directly benefit you.
It's more so a way of supporting the Trunk platform and making the APR higher by minting Trunk and not staking it into this platform. Because again, when you stake, you become part of the denominator, which divides the rewards out amongst all the users, potentially lowering the APR. Or in other words, if you come down here and if you look at the Trunk supply that is actually minted, you have $165,000 worth of Trunk, but the staked amount of Trunk is only 110. So there's a difference of 55,000 Trunk that is not actually staked in the balance right here, meaning that whoever has minted all of this 55 extra thousand Trunk is helping the APR of the site overall. If they were to take that 55,000 extra Trunk and throw it into the staking balance, you can rest assured that this APR would actually go lower.
Which again, isn't necessarily a bad thing.
But I think that's more of a strategy for the whales to make this more attractive. Because again, remember, if you are more so of an elephant token holder and you want your elephant bag to go up, then you would simply not care about the rewards you're going to get here, because you want your elephant price to appreciate. So you would take your stuff, you would just, instead of holding BUSD, you would mint Trunk and hold Trunk, and simply hold Trunk. And by doing that, you keep this APR high, which then is more attractive to other people entering into Trunk to get into the staking pool, because they love that high APR. And maybe they don't give two about the elephant token, So they're happy for the high APR, whereas you are just happy about the people getting into Trunk because of the buyback pressure against your elephant token price appreciation.
Do you see where I'm going with that?
It's a little bit tough to wrap your head around, but it is more of an advanced strategy and kind of cool if you ask me. And I think I'm gonna do somewhat of a hybrid. I do like the idea of having some APR here with my stables, but one day,
if I could ever become a whale,
then rest assured I'll be keeping some Trunk on the side so I can support the folks that are in here, because I know it ultimately helps my elephant token price.
Oh man, that is a lot of information, but a very good breakdown. Thank you.
You're very welcome, little sidekick you.
So yes, everybody, that is actually all that I have for this video here. This is definitely some exciting stuff to hit the Elephant Money platform. And you can already just see by all of this positive buying pressure what the Trunk platform is technically doing. It's already starting to moon the price. And sure, you're gonna get some people that are gonna come take their profits. However, overall, you're not going to be stopping this positive buying pressure against Elephant token. And then remember to use those strategies I talked about to prepare yourself for the bear market, because this Trunk platform is bear market proof. You are literally going to be earning a high APR on a stable coin that is done correctly. Bank Teller really did his due diligence on making sure that this is the perfect one that can never lose the peg. There's too many fail safes. And as Trunk overall branches out of the actual Elephant Money ecosystem, and you start seeing this on different dexes and farm sites and partnerships, the use case for Trunk is going to explode, and all that does is help the elephant token price. So whether you are simply an elephant holder, simply a Trunk holder, or a combination of both, this is a fantastic platform to get into.
So folks, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as well as hit the notification bell. And if you vibe with my videos and want to join my exclusive Telegram community, please check the description and come say what's up to your boy. But until the next time, I hope you all stay safe out there, stay blessed, and make good choices with your crypto.
Hey, how you doing today? I'm doing well too, hanging out here ready to play in this world of crypto growing day to day. I'm teaching people how to crypto in a positive way, you know. What crypto bags am I holding in? Diversify with the ones that I'm gonna win. Run the game, strip token of the elephant. Plenty more, but just know I'm enjoying them. Not financial advice.